Welcome everybody, and thank you very much for making the time to come and find out about accounting clubs in schools. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Toby York. I'm a senior lecturer in accounting at Middlesex University, and I'm also one of the founders of Accounting Cafe, this community that's seeking to build and share excellent accounting resources with everybody everywhere. If that's something that resonates with you, you can sign up on the Accounting Cafe website. Just Google Accounting Cafe. Just to give a little bit of context, Accounting Clubs in Schools is an initiative we've tested in a school in North London. And now we hope to expand that scheme nationally. So this coming academic year, it's an opportunity to join at a sort of pilot stage and help us to create a programme that's ready for promoting probably more widely in 24-25. And while I say we've only done it in one school in North London, it was pretty successful. We had wonderful feedback from the students and from the teacher in charge, Rachel Fraser, who's now in Australia. But it was a very successful programme and definitely something that we would like to broaden and share with other schools up and down the country and internationally if that's possible. Although I should say what I'm saying today is particularly relevant to UK schools in terms of the sort of regulatory environment and those sorts of things. But that's not to say it can't run anywhere in the world. This quote I'm really pleased with because I think one of the key things, for me anyway, about accounting clubs in schools is this sort of social inclusion and broadening opportunity piece, which is such an important aspect of the work that we're doing. And I'll say a little bit more about that later if there's time. So we haven't got a huge amount of time together today. There is a fact sheet up on the website and I'll share the details of that later on. But I'm going to just say something really quickly about where financial education sits within a wider context of financial literacy. I'm going to spend most of our time talking about what the programme looks like, what are we actually delivering in schools, and then something about if you're interested in becoming what we're calling Accounting Club Educators, an ACE, then I'll tell you what the next steps are for doing that, and hopefully we'll have some time towards the end for questions. So what we're proposing, Accounting Clubs in Schools, is really a financial education initiative. And I just want to be clear about where financial education, in my mind anyway, sits within a financial literacy programme. I'm not going to go through this slide in huge detail, but what you can see on the left here are the sort of influences that affect people's ability to acquire financial literacy. And these are fairly well understood and well explored in the research. Social influences, personal lived experiences, and interventions. And financial education sits here within one of the interventions. So it's one small part of a much wider piece that is seeking to promote financial literacy. And I think that's important because it makes us focus on what we are able to do and also cognizant of the fact that there are other factors at play here that maybe we can also encourage and take into account when we're building our programmes. The attributes are what we're seeking to build in our students, and the outcomes and the behaviours are what we're hoping we're going to be able to see from them as a result. One of the things I think is unique or particular about accounting clubs in schools is this idea of accounting literacy. And our understanding of accounting literacy is distinct from the more general term financial literacy in that we focus on a grounding and context for applied financial concepts. What we mean by that is if you hear people talk about financial literacy, a lot of the time they're talking about specific applications of knowledge. It might be student loans or credit cards or mortgages or investment returns, portfolio, risk analysis, those sorts of things. What we're suggesting here is that an accounting lens provides a sort of grounding and a context for all of those things. we're not aware of any research that directly looks at accounting literacy within a financial literacy context. So there's an opportunity, maybe a research project, but our hunches and our sort of tentative hypothesis is that being accounting literate will enable students to approach financial concepts and novel financial concepts, things they haven't seen before, with greater confidence and with better understanding. So let's have a look at the programme. What we're suggesting is that accounting clubs in schools runs within a school as an enrichment activity. That usually consists of an hour and a half, maybe a couple of hours on an afternoon or on a particular day in a school. It could run in a similar format as an after-school club, but the commitment is to actually be in a local school for a couple of hours every week for a term. That's the commitment. And so what we've got is we've got a programme of 10 weeks. And these are very much centred on the idea of accounting as an extracurricular activity. So we do take the subject seriously, but we're holding it lightly. So we've created a programme that we think is very engaging, it's activity-based, and it's fun. And that might sound like an extravagant claim to make about accounting education, but it's true, and the feedback that we've had from our students proves that it's true. So it's a demanding and challenging programme for students in the best way possible. It's not assessment or test heavy, and a lot of the work we do with you in terms of helping you support you deliver the programme is creating that rapport, that atmosphere of fun, lightheartedness, engagement, without being too sort of heavy, technical, trying to keep things broad-based and at the same time orthodox. We're teaching proper accounting, but you get the idea. We're trying to make it an activity-based and fun programme, and I think that's what we've done here. So the way the programme breaks down is these are 10 sessions of roughly an hour and a half each. The first 3 are pretty much without the. I'm going to come on to the colour accounting learning system in a minute. So the first 3 sessions don't use directly the colour accounting activity materials, but they are based on this colour accounting learning system, which has been around for more than 20 years and has been used in a variety of contexts: higher education, high schools, commerce, law firms. And then the other thing important about this is that we concentrate quite a lot on personal finance. So yes, we do business finance, so it works really well for students who are studying BTEC business, A-level business, but I really don't think that's an important requirement, and we definitely don't want to make that a prerequisite. We want to make this a general course that anybody wants to join, somebody who's doing music and art, but just thinks they might need some more financial acumen. It's definitely geared towards them as well. So what I want to talk about is this colour accounting learning system. This is sort of at the heart of the programme. This is what makes the programme a lot of fun and gives it that sort of feel of students being able to do accounting rather than just learn about it. So we're proposing that each student gets a colour accounting learning system pack, what we call the basis board, and what we're going to do with the Accounting Club Educators, we're going to provide you with some training in order that you are able and confident to deliver this particular learning method. It's also supported by online resources, lesson plans, handouts, videos. We have a forum. You can always also contact me by email. The other thing to say about colour accounting is that it looks like a sort of game, but actually it's orthodox accounting. It gives a brilliant induction into accounting. I've used it with my undergraduate students and with postgraduates, and I've used it in commercial training and in schools. And it works in this sort of amazing way of bringing out really meaningful conversations with participants without getting bogged down in debits and credits, balance sheets and profit and loss accounts. All of that sort of just comes to the surface through this exploration of using the colour accounting learning system. I've got Peter here. Peter, did you want to say anything about it at all? Peter is one of the founders of colour accounting.
Not really, Toby. You're doing such a good job. Yeah, it's, pictures make it easier.
Great, good, okay. So in terms of, I'll come back to the program and talk about that in a little bit more detail. But in terms of actually what becoming an Accounting Club educator entails, what we're suggesting is that if you're interested in doing this, the things that we're expecting Accounting Club educators to do is to sign up to Accounting Cafe, show your interest, we'll keep in touch with you, we'll give you more information, we'll share the fact sheets, we've got some communication materials that you can use with schools and so on. But the primary responsibility of an Accounting Club educator is for you to find a school that's willing to offer Accounting Club and where you are happy to go and deliver it. Once you've found a school, then you can register that school on Accounting Club and register yourself on Accounting Cafe. It doesn't have to be in that order, you can register anyway. And then it becomes important for you to actually get hold of the training in order that you're able to deliver the program when the school is ready to run Accounting Club. And then just check, once you've signed up the school, once you've registered and had your training, just check that the school is running Accounting Club. Because if it's running as an after-school club or as an enrichment activity, it's incumbent upon the school, and you can support them with this, to find sufficient students to make the club viable. So there is a small risk that you might find a school, yes, they're really willing, you do the training and get yourself ready, but for some reason it hasn't resonated with the students and they can't run the club. I'd be amazed. I'll talk a little, I mean, maybe I would be, maybe I should get ready to be amazed. But if it's running as an enrichment activity, what a lot of the schools will do is they'll have a sort of enrichment showcase event. And I would strongly recommend that you go to the school and you demonstrate the materials and you talk to them about what the program is, and invariably there's a lot of enthusiasm and traction. What we know from our own experience, and the research also supports this, is that there is a huge appetite among young learners for applied financial education. So this is going to resonate with students, and combined with the activity-based learning and the lightness and the fun of it, I don't think recruiting people to Accounting Club is necessarily going to be a stumbling block. In terms of the costs, the cost of training, which includes a pack being posted out to your home, the cost of training, we're offering 6 hours, 3 sessions of 2 hours each of online training, with you having a pack in front of you, and the training will be with me over 3 consecutive days. We're running one session, I think is the last week of August, in the morning, 8:45 until 10:45. Is that 2 hours? Yes. And then the following week, the first week of September, I think we're doing the same thing, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but those sessions are going to be in the evening, I think at 4:45 until 6:45. Ideally, you should sign up for one set of 3 consecutive days or another, but it doesn't necessarily have to work that way. You can do day 1 one week, day 2 the other, days 2 and 3. You can mix and match. But what's important is that you do get the 3 days of training. And then the program itself, what we're suggesting during this pilot phase is that we're only charging the schools the material cost of the pack. So while we're developing in this sort of development phase, it's the cost of the packs that we're asking the schools to fund. So it's approximately £20 per pack, plus VAT plus shipping. Most schools in the UK can recover their VAT. So I'm saying it's approximately £20 per pupil, maybe a little bit more. If you actually think about what the students are getting, if that's 10 sessions of enrichment, it's about £2 per session. It's about £1 an hour. It's ridiculously cheap. Also, just think about, because we've got to there's some logistics in terms of getting packs out to you, then I would suggest that you register for a particular training course probably 10 days before the training starts. That's probably worthwhile. Good. The other thing I would say is that I think we've got basically two. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think we've probably got a mixture of school teachers here who are working in schools, and we've got some accounting academics working in universities. So for schools, I think the costs are just recoverable from your school, from your institution, through staff development budget or the school's enrichment budget. I don't think there should be a problem with that at all. For university staff who want to do this, again, I would go staff development, see if you can get at least the cost of the training recovered through staff development budget. But also you may be able to lean on your marketing department. We may have some people from Middlesex marketing department. Maybe they could talk about that. But most universities will have a schools outreach department, and they will have budget for activities that are going on in their local schools. So yes, schools outreach, marketing, staff development. I think the costs should be relatively easy to recover. Yeah, good. Let me see what's going on in the chat. So Lindsay, I think yours is the first direct question. So yes, we're directing this towards 16 to 18. So yes, sixth form enrichment provision. We have successfully delivered, actually by mistake, we did a school project at Middlesex University where we got school pupils to come into the university. I thought we were delivering an accounting taster session for 16 to 18-year-olds. Turned out they were 13 to 15-year-olds. But it was fine. We did a little bit of adapting on the hoof, and it ran very successfully. But that's how we're envisioning this at the moment. Yeah, sixth forms. Secondary schools. In terms of what's the viable number, presumably you're talking there, Jane, about the viable number of pupils in the class. I would say up to 30. I think preferably 20, because you want a little bit of space. So I would say 20 to 30. You could run it with fewer numbers. I think when we were doing it, we had about 15, and some students didn't come one week, and so 13, 15. So yes, that works. That does work. I guess the question is, would you run it with one student? Probably not. Would you run it with 6? Well, I probably would. So I suppose the viability means, is it worth, would you find it worth your while to go in and teach 6 students? I personally would. I wouldn't mind doing that. So I would say 6 to 30. I think does that answer your question? Yeah, so that's a good question, Ella. Would you suggest contacting business teachers and maybe get their buy-in to help convince the SLT? Yes, I would. I mean, if you have contacts with business teachers, I would definitely go that route. You can approach the school directly through their normal communication channels and suggest it. If you, I mean, I know they're not that common among secondary schools, but our school has a parent-teacher association, so that's also another good way into the school, or through the governing body. Yeah, so different approaches for schools. And again, on the website, I think I'll share the fact sheet at the end. I did send it around this morning, but I'm not sure everybody got it. On the fact sheet, we've prepared a little document that might be useful in terms of how you communicate with schools. It's just text. It's a Word text document, so you can cut and paste and adapt it for your own tone of voice and how you want to sound. So yeah, that would be the way I would suggest you approach schools. The £20 per pack is the base cost of the pack. The school will be charged postage and packing in addition. I've got Nicole here. How much would that be if we were, say, sending out 20 packs? What would post and packing be to a UK school, Nicole?
It's coming from Ireland, and we would normally use Royal Mail. So you're not looking at a lot, a couple of pounds. Royal Mail is very reasonable. So £5 for a pack, £5-6. Yeah. So
what Nicole is referring to is the packs come in boxes of 10. So if you were to order 2 boxes, then what Nicole is saying, it would be roughly £5 per box, correct?
So, yes.
It's not going to be prohibitive. The other thing to bear in mind is that VAT is chargeable in addition. I've been a little inconsistent here. In terms of getting accredited, you're getting accredited by Accounting Cafe. Accounting Cafe is not VAT registered. We're far too small. So £95 is the base cost, and that includes the pack being posted to you, and all of that VAT and postage and packing is absorbed, and a small training fee on top.
Toby?
Yeah.
Just to say that you said boxes of 10, but those are divisible. So it's
Okay.
not a minimum order. Just
Right.
to make that clear.
Great.
So you can order 5 or whatever.
Right.
1.
Right. Mary, that's an interesting idea. Mary's asking, can they appoint an ACE for the school and run it a bit like Young Enterprise? Yeah, why not? I mean, that sounds like a great idea. Depending on who's running Young Enterprise, you might even be able to integrate it with Young Enterprise. That might be a little complicated, but you could run it alongside. Be interesting to hear what your thoughts are on that. Thanks, Jack. Jack's here he's offering to pay for everybody to do this. That's very kind of him. Oh no, I've misread that. Sorry. Yeah, that's a good point, Ella. Small numbers, and then spread by word of mouth. It'll expand very quickly. Yeah. Helen, I assume you're saying, would it be worth offering this earlier in the school years? Is that what you're? Yeah.
There's a massive gap where I think a lot of children are considering leaving school, and there's such great opportunities, particularly in accounting apprenticeships. And I think if they had that opportunity to hear about it, and this could be a real step up in terms of them feeling confident they've heard some of the words and understand the questions that are being asked of them, and to help signpost opportunities, because I think that's something that's done really quite poorly, certainly in the schools that I've been in touch with.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I have seen it work successfully with 13-year-olds. I think as a broad program, I'm not sure I mean, I would leave that. You're the expert, Helen. I would leave that to your judgment. If you think this, once you see the program in more detail, I think it could easily run for 15 to 16-year-olds. Yes, it could. Yeah. Is it Wawan? Is it available in Asia? Well, the Colour Accounting will ship packs wherever you want them. So if you're in Asia and you are using your packs for this particular program, I don't think there will be any problem shipping those, would there, Nicole?
There's no problem with the shipping, but obviously Asia is a different postage and packing cost. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing just to bear in mind is that alongside this, Wealthfox, who own the Colour Accounting learning system materials and intellectual property, they have licensees around the world. So what we're not suggesting here is that you can go and become a colour accounting accredited trainer and distributor in Asia, but you can definitely become an ACE and deliver accounting clubs in schools using the IP that we're providing here. So yeah, definitely you can do that. Ella, the £95 base cost, that's purely just for training. So if you're interested in becoming an accounting club educator, you just sign up on the Accounting Cafe website for the training course, ACE training. And in order to access ACE training, you pay a £95 flat fee. And included within that is a colour accounting learning system pack posted out to your home, or an address of your choice, whatever address you use when you're paying for the course. And then we'll do the 3 days of training for that as well. 2 hours, 3 days, 6 hours of training. Yeah. Yes, Angela, could it run for less time per session, just over more weeks? Yes. Yes, I think it could. I mean, I think that would be fine. What I think we might just need to do is we'd have to do a little bit of thinking about how the sessions break down. So the way we've designed the course so far is for these 90-minute activity workshops. So we'd probably have to do a little bit of tweaking, but if that was something you were interested in doing, I'd be very happy to work on that with you. So we've got nice sort of tight 45-minute workshops maybe. For the students to get something done, meaningful, reflect on, come back. But yes, I think it could run over more weeks. Yeah. Yeah. Mary's saying she'd like to be put in touch with a local ACE. That's a good question. Would Accounting Cafe be able to link ACEs with schools who are interested? Well, the quick answer to that is, if you register on Accounting Cafe, if you join Accounting Cafe, it's free. You just sign up on the website. If you join Accounting Cafe, you have access to the Accounting Cafe forum, and there is a forum set up for accounting clubs in schools. So what I would suggest is that you put your request in there, say where the location of your school is, and then maybe an accounting club educator who's looking for a school in that area might come and find you. I have to say, I mean, because we're at such a fledgling stage of the programme, I wouldn't hold out much hope. But what we can also do is support that with your request by sharing on social media. I think we've got Colin Leith here from Pearson. Colin, is that something that you would be prepared to post on the Facebook groups of teachers? And I can...
Yeah, I can't see a problem with that. But linking someone with the area they're with, you have to be careful about sort of data protection, but you can post it in such a way that doesn't give too much away. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. And we would do the same. We would share it on our social media, LinkedIn. One of the, I might be wrong here, this is an assumption I'm making. In my experience, a lot of school teachers are on Facebook and not on LinkedIn. A lot of university lecturers appear to be on LinkedIn but not on Facebook. But I've exposed myself with my social media naivety. I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm talking about me, which is dangerous. Great. I hope that answered that question, Mary. So post up on the forum and let's see where that goes. Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Jack. So Jack's got some justification for costs. I mean, that would be great if you might share those with me as well, Jack, and I'll put those up on the website on the fact sheet in terms of justifying running this with the university. That would be great. In terms of certification and qualification, yes, as an ACE, you are an accredited colour accounting educator. So would somebody from Wealthfox just explain what colour accounting accreditation means? But I think that's what we're offering. I'm kind of putting you on the spot because we haven't talked about this, but yeah, we're offering that.
Yeah, so the idea behind the accreditation is just to support people who are using the materials to find the gap or to bridge the gap between what we're the material that we're offering, and then also how to integrate it into the curriculum or program that they are having to follow in their regular teaching space. So the idea is introducing you to the concepts, introducing you to the way it's taught, and the different materials that are used, and then also showing you at the second level, showing you how to now use it in the classroom space, in the place where you regularly teach it, as I say, to bridge that gap between the curriculum that you follow and the program that we have.
Yeah, but I just think, just to keep things simple, I would like somebody who's completed ACE training to be at least level 1 accredited colour accounting. I think that's the point.
Yes, and absolutely, that's the point, is that they will feel confident to be able to take the material and say, okay, here we go, we can use it. We do know, because teachers come back to us and they say to us, well, that's great, I'm familiar with the stuff, but how do I bridge that gap? So the second part is an add-on, so it's not to say that after level 1 you will not be in a position to use it. Absolutely, you will be. I think level 2 is an add-on for supporting educators to feel confident in having to meet the learning goals that they're having to meet.
Yeah. So the question, I think it came through as a direct message to me, so it may not be in the chat, but the question was, are there certificates or accreditation available for colour accounting? And the answer is yes, there are. Mary, could teachers potentially be trained by their school if ACEs are not available? Absolutely. That's something that we are actively encouraging. So I think we've got in the room a mix of people, and yes, we would love to be having teachers in school being trained up as ACEs. If the school uses an ACE, would there be an expectation of payment for their time, or is it voluntary? Well, that's up to you. That's for you to negotiate with your school. All we're asking is, in a sense, we're a third party to the school. So Accounting Cafe is requiring a £95 training accreditation fee, and the packs during this pilot phase are £20 per pupil. If you can negotiate with your school that it's part of your work programme, then that would be something for you to negotiate with your school. At this stage, we're expecting all ACEs to be working voluntarily. Having said that, again, if university staff here can negotiate as part of their work programme some school outreach work, then yes, I would say try to negotiate that into your work programme with your line manager. I didn't have time allocated in my work programme to deliver this programme, but I do have school outreach hours in my work programme for other activities that I do with schools. Lindsay, yes. Could undergraduates support us delivering accounting clubs in schools? Yes, absolutely. I think that's a laudable aspiration. In terms of where we are currently with what we know about the programme and our experience with it, I would prefer to keep it to experienced teachers of one description or another, school teachers or educators within universities. But by all means, take students with you. What we're not ready for at the moment is for students or third year students or whoever it might be that you've got in mind, we're not yet ready for them to go into schools and deliver this unsupervised. But yes, definitely take them as classroom assistants. I think that's a really nice idea. Yeah. What price do you think the packs will increase to after the pilot? Well, I don't really know. I don't even know if they have to increase after the pilot. I guess the problem might come. I mean, let me just be clear. I'm not. This Accounting Cafe is a community-based organisation. We're not looking to make any great deal of money out of this. It would be nice to have our costs covered, and if we make a surplus, it'll go back into the Accounting Cafe enterprise. My only thought is if this really takes off, then actually there may be a way for Accounting Club educators to be remunerated by the program itself. So I think that would drive what the price of delivery is within the schools, if that was an avenue that we were to go down.
Toby,
yeah.
Maybe it's worth adding there that some more context about pricing from WealthFox's point of view, which is that that's not pilot pricing for WealthFox. That's the pilot aspect of this really is the Accounting Club, and I think putting it out there. But in the United States, where we're doing a similar kind of thing, we're just regularly selling packs for this kind of money. A little bit more context is that there's a bit of a Robin Hood thing going on here, where we've got WealthFox has got two presences. One's wealthfox.com and the other one's coloraccounting.com. And we charge good old hefty fees to the corporates, and there's not a lot of money being made. There's costs being recovered under the color accounting presence. So this isn't just a way of sort of hooking in people and it jumps up next year, not at all.
Thanks, Peter. I think that's answered everybody's questions, unless there are any more or anybody wants to make any observations or reflections. If you think there's something we haven't thought of, or this is a terrible idea, then please tell us that too.
It's a brilliant idea, by the way.
Thanks, Ella.
Toby, there's a question from Anna about Credly badges.
Oh, thanks, Colin. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Toby. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all.
Good to see you.
I was just thinking from the point of view of sort of promoting your product as well, that if we had a Credly badge on our LinkedIn pages or are able to add it to our signatures on emails, it's just a way of promoting this as well for you guys.
Thank you, Anna. It's not something I've given any thought to at all, but now I will. So I don't know the answer. Probably yes, because why not? So if I can work out how to do that, yes, I'll do that.
Toby, Credly is a company owned by Pearson for digital badging, and I know it costs quite a lot of money to get a badge.
Oh, does it? Well, maybe you'll be able to sort that out for us, Colin, for this community initiative that's basically promoting Pearson qualifications in schools. I don't. They should be paying us. I don't understand it. Okay, well, that's gone to a probably not then, Anna, but we'll see. Yes, I think, again, that isn't something I did last time, Claire, with my students, but that was a missed opportunity and oversight on my part. But yes, we will definitely have certificates for participating students in schools, and we'll make that look jazzy and fun, and because actually they have really achieved something. They come out of the program feeling very confident and pleased with themselves, and so they should. So yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Toby, there was one question that you missed from Jane, asking about how many times the same board can be used.
Oh, well, maybe you can answer that.
Well, I'll give that a go, because I was about to. You can, as many times as you like. I mean, they're designed to be sort of an encouragement to the students. So it'd be nice if each student gets their own, but you can share them. They come with some blank transaction sheets as well. So in terms of the tickets, you can write up more tickets. They come with the classic transactions, right? There's some classic journal entries, and then there's some blank tickets that can be used. And of course, you could just use little Post-it notes or something. Now, the other thing is that there are some schools that in the US, we've been doing this longer in the US, slightly different format. Toby's doing it with a lovely Tobiness about this, so it's wonderful. But they buy one pack per 2 students. And then one of the teachers was telling me the other day that she has one kid do everything green tickets, green buckets, which is, debit accounts, debiting effects. And the other student does everything credit. And that creates a little interaction there, which is nice. This, so yeah, you use the stationery as much as you like. That said, it is sort of I don't want to call it disposable, because the idea is that the students hang on to these. They also fold up so they can take them away, bring them back, and they have a nice sense of ownership to them.
This is what the students get. You know, you've seen pictures of it, but it's a fun thing to play with. I mean, I think there's huge benefits to students having their own packs, because they take ownership and responsibility for it. They're proud of what they've done, and they take their boxes home. So I think there's a lot to be said for it. Of course, there are budget constraints in some schools that make that impossible. Much better to share a pack between two than have no accounting club in schools. Best of all, they each have their own pack. So the actual resources are each student gets a pack. It looks slightly different to this. This is last year's version. It's been updated, but each student gets a pack, and inside the pack are the necessary fun bits and bobs and pieces that they need in order to do the colour accounting activities, which we're running in weeks 4 and 5. The additional resources that you get by registering for ACE training on Accounting Cafe, you get the full program, you get all of the teaching notes, you get the handouts, you get the activities, you get an outline of all, and you get all of the support. And also, of course, the online training. So yes, it's a full pack of resources to enable you to go and deliver the program confidently, and everything you need to support you in doing that.
No, thank you. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just wondering, is it a separate, so I'm assuming it's based on some sort of company, or it's based on solving a problem. Is that weekly, or is that throughout the continuous course? So is it completing full accounts, or what is the topic per week as it's broken down?
Oh, okay. So no, well, we don't follow a whole company accounts all the way through the program. So where we start is we have a very general conversation with them about why companies are important, what companies do. What we're really, the learning point underlying that first session is entity theory, and this idea that the corporate world works on relationships between entities. And we have this rather fun exercise that students can do. We get them to choose a very simple object, a pen or a pencil or whatever it might be. It can be anything, a mug, anything. And we ask them to just sort of, in their groups, think about the life cycle of that product. And then we'll start using different lenses for that life cycle. How many people were involved? How many companies were involved? How many different types of skill were involved? How many resources were required? Just to start getting them to think about this economic world that works on this accounting basis. The second week, we go into a slightly different conversation that we call the butterfly conversation, and we give them a little case study based on the colour accounting learning system, where we show them a picture of a supermarket and we ask them to describe what they can see in the supermarket. And that leads on to a conversation about what an asset is, how assets are funded, and before you know it, they've created, in their imaginations, a balance sheet without actually looking at a set of accounts, and so on. So then we'll talk to them about the relationships between these financial accounting elements. What's the relationship of revenue to equity, expenses to equity? What does equity really mean? Again, in a workshop conversational way. It's not textbook based. Then we move into the transactions, then we start applying it. We'll take a set of accounts, we'll get our coloured crayons, and we'll start drawing all over the accounts to show us that we know where assets are, how profit fits within the balance sheet. Then we move into how might we apply this into personal finance.
No, that's brilliant. That's exactly what I wanted to know. Thank you very much.
Great. I'll add some more detail to the sheet, but thank you for making that clear. So there's a fact sheet there on the website. It's in progress, so I'll reflect on what's being talked about in this and add that to the fact sheet. In terms of next steps, the next steps are either you should have, if the fact sheet is doing its job, you should have enough information to decide whether or not this is something you want to pursue. If it's something you want to pursue, the first step is to find a school, reach out to a school. Use your university contacts, use your parent-teacher contacts, whatever it might be. Find a school that's interested and willing. Once you've signed up a school that's interested and willing, then you're in a position to sign up for training. Get your ACE training. You may decide you want to do ACE training anyway, and then hope you get a school, but that's £95 of risk. Good value, but still £95 of risk. So those are the next steps. And sign up for the training, and then everything will fall into place. If you do have any more questions, either use the forum on the Accounting Cafe website, or you can email me. I think you've all got my email address. Let me just drop it into here. It's toby@accountingcafe.org.